Hey guys, welcome to Crazy Days. We received our Bette's box of blessings today and I went ahead and opened it. I want to be able to have something to talk about, to know a little bit about what she sent before actually just opening the box. So it's Miracles and God's Glory. And this box is really, it kind of goes along with the one from last month, I think. There's so many people we know that are having struggles and trials and health issues and financial issues and different things like that. And this box has quite a few little goodies in it that kind of just encourage people. Bette's Box of Blessings is a subscription box. You can order it. I'll put a link below, and they're well worth the money. Everything in them comes from a Christian-based store, or a Christian-based book, a Christian-based item. The first thing is Amazing Modern Day Miracles. I read one of the stories in this book, and it really is a miracle in a way, what people might not think of huge miracles, but tiny miracles, because I've witnessed this type of stuff before myself. It's talking about a woman who, her neighbor had cancer and she was taking over food and she didn't want to bother them, so she would leave it on the doorstep and they knew she would leave it. And so throughout the man's struggle with cancer, she would take the food over, but she never went in. She left it for them so that she wouldn't go in. And one day she just thought, you know, what am I going to make for today? And she thought of split pea soup. But she didn't have regular green split peas. She had the yellow ones, and she's thinking, I don't know what that's going to look like. But she made it anyway. And it was a yellow, yucky looking something instead of the pretty green pea soup. She put it in a jar, and she didn't want to take it to him. It looked ugly. She put a pretty bow and a rose and stuff on it and sat it in the refrigerator, kind of ashamed to take it to him. And so the next day, she was feeling that God was really urging her to go ahead and take that soup over to them. And so she went to sit it on the step, and the door opened and a person was leaving. And so the lady invited her in and looked at the jar of yellow something, pretty questioning, you know. And so she went to be apologetic and say, you know, it's split pea soup, but it's yellow because she only had yellow split peas. And the woman burst into tears and she said, oh, my husband was just asking for split pea soup. And she said, I couldn't make it. I'm so busy doing everything else. I couldn't stop long enough. She said, God knew that somebody would bring him that soup. And that's the kind of miracles that this book is about. It's by Susan Frey. And it's just a collection. I think it says it's, I don't know if it tells how many. 52. One for every week of the year. If you only read one story a week, 52 of them. So I think that's pretty good. It's a little pick-me-up. Shows that God does show up and show out quite a bit. Another thing. God does extraordinary things in the midst of the ordinary days. Kind of goes along with that story. You never know what God's going to do, when he's going to show up in an ordinary day and turn your ordinary day into something extraordinary. And the Bible verse, let me read it because I can't quote it. Psalms 96:3. Declare his glory among the nations, his marvelous works among all the peoples. If you put forth the effort to do what God lays on your heart, you will be rewarded. And that's sort of kind of the way I feel about people in need. I like to be supportive as much as possible. That's who I am. That's who I've always been. This, From Depths We Rise by Sarah Rodriguez. This is just a beautiful story of a woman who lost quite a lot in a short period of time. She first had a miscarriage, I believe. Then her husband was diagnosed with cancer twice. Then when he passed away, her baby was fighting for her life. This is a story of a miraculous comeback for this lady. So I think the book by Sarah Rodriguez would be a really good reading for anybody that thinks that, you know, when things get you down, God can always show up and show out and turn your life into a bad part of your life into something really, really good. They always send songs, a CD, and this is Corey Voss. The King is here, lift, O gates, praise the King, God who moves the mountains, as it is in heaven. Nothing is impossible. With God, nothing is. So, the title of it is Songs of Heaven and Earth by Corey Voss. That's something that I'll have to open up and listen to later. I had thought one time about maybe opening the CD and playing while I was doing this, but then YouTube kind of frowns on that. And the last thing in the box is always cards. They always send cards and they always send music. And the cards always come from Dayspring. This time, they sent some Easter cards, which is part of the variety pack that they sent. But they sent 4 cards that would be for handing out at Easter. After Easter, graduation. Who can't use graduation cards, right? There's always somebody graduating. So they sent some graduation cards. Okay, there's 4 of them. And then before graduation, after graduation, what comes? Mother's Day, Father's Day. So they got you covered this month. A variety pack of cards that will cover any of those things that come during this time of the year. So Daysprings is just an awesome, awesome company that you can buy cards from. I always bought my cards through Dayspring. So Bette's Box of Blessings. It's an awesome box. It's a great encouragement. Bette has donated a couple of 3 boxes for our gathering. And so we're going to be giving away a few things from Bette's Box of Blessings. And we're going to give away a couple of whole boxes. So thank you, Bette, for sending these to us. And we look forward to these boxes every month because it's always an encouragement. The music is always uplifting. And the cards have come in handy because I do not like to pay $5 a piece for cards, guys, or more. So having the cards on hand when I need them has been special. So thank you, Bette, and thank you guys for joining me today on Crazy Days.